Let's go over the top 10 power forwards to target in your Yahoo head-to-head points drafts coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello sports fans and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I've got my top 10 power forwards to draft in head-to-head points leagues. If you like the sound of that, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you don't miss an episode. I will be posting valuable fantasy basketball content all season long. Do you have a burning fantasy basketball question that you want an expert to answer? Ask me on Q. Go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds-NBA, submit your question, and I will give you a personal audio response right to your email. You can even send me screenshots of your team so that way I can use that in my review. It's super easy to do and it's a great way to get fantasy basketball advice while also supporting this channel. Now let's dive into this list. Here at number 10 we have Jaren Jackson Jr. In points leagues, it does hurt when your big can't be counted on for rebounding. Despite being a top 5 candidate for stocks this season, Triple J is going to have a hard time putting up really good performances in points leagues. Having a full and healthy roster won't help matters, as I would expect that his points per game is also going to drop below 20 this season. He shouldn't be looked at before the 5th round in this format. Let's go to number 9. We have Zion Williamson. Zion owners can rejoice. This is the format to roster a player like him. He's not going to hurt you with his inability to hit a 3 or a free throw. He will be a benefit everywhere else, and you can expect him to be a solid contributor when he's on the court. Alright, there's the rub. Can you trust that he will be available for your team when you need him? If he drops far enough in drafts, I would still give him a shot. Let's go to number 8. We have Pascal Siakam. Pascal won't be counted on to be the secondary facilitator in his first year in Indiana. With Halliburton in the fold and Nembhard and TJ McConnell on the bench, Siakam should really focus on getting into his scoring bag and putting the basketball in the net. That's not going to fare as well in this format though, but with how fast a pace this team plays, Siakam will still be able to pick up a handful of assists per night. Moving on to number 7, we have Karl Anthony Towns. Cat's value is tied into his scoring and rebounding, and while he's the number 2 option on the team without a clear number 3, if he happens to struggle with his shot, he's going to have a hard time making up the value elsewhere. He's not going to be someone that I plan on reaching for unless there's a run on center-eligible players. I'm more interested to see if I can get him on the cheap. If Gobert happens to miss time though, then that will definitely help Cat's floor. Let's go to number 6, we have Paolo Banchero. Banchero is another player who will benefit from this format as it hides his efficiency issues and highlights his point forward role. There hasn't been any major changes to the Magic in the offseason, so it's safe to assume that the counting stats that Paolo collected last season could make up his floor again for this year. His ceiling won't be crazy high though, as he shares his usage with Franz Wagner. Moving on to number 5, we have Scotty Barnes. Scotty is one category away from being an elite player in points leagues, and chances are he will be strong enough in that category this season to make an impact. That category, of course, is scoring, and although he may not be the top scorer on his team on every night, he should be able to do enough to comfortably be over 20 points per game this season. If he does, then he can be a top 3 power forward in this format. Let's go to number 4. We have Kevin Durant. KD is a pure scorer. He can also chip in with 2 stocks a game. His decline in rebounding coupled with his high turnover rate keeps him from being an elite power forward in points leagues. At 35, it might be safe to assume that we will see a decline in his scoring this year as well, which might push him a little further down this list. He's not a round 1 asset anymore. Select Durant late in round 2 if you're wanting to get good value from him. Let's go to number 3. We have Jason Tatum. Tatum's floor in points leagues is what carries him to top 3 status. We saw what his scoring dip was going to be last season when the Celtics picked up Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. It's safe to say that Tatum should challenge for 27 points per game per night. He will also make up a good amount of points off his rebounding and assists, and he doesn't turn over the ball as much as many others do on this list. To number 2 we go. We have LeBron James. It's crazy to think that LeBron can be a number 2 pick in points leagues for this position at his age. His game suits this format so well as it eliminates his percentages, which is arguably the worst part of his profile. LeBron is going to use his point forward abilities to rack up counting stats, but his obvious Achilles heel, that being his availability, is really the only concern with him, and it'll be less of a concern if he's available throughout the last month of the season. And finally, at number 1, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. When you eliminate a category like free throw percentage from a historically poor free throw shooter who takes a lot of free throws per game, then you can really boost a player's value. Given the fact that the player is elite in many of the other categories, and now you have someone who will stand out from the rest of the pack. This is certainly the case with Giannis. The fact that you should be able to slide him over to the center spot only adds extra value. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.